Yeah.
Like, I'm so used to watching 10-minute, 5-minute videos, and if something is over 10 minutes, you've lost me.
You're through with it.
I'm just like, I don't have the patience.
That's what I tell people.
That's not good.
We got to make shorts because people don't want to sit there and watch nothing long. We don't, and it's sad because it has programmed us to want everything right now.
Really
I want a perfect relationship. I want my body to be perfect today. I want to get my stuff right now. I want to get me a BBL because I want to be fine now. And I was like, you don't even have hips. You can't get fake hips. You know what I'm saying? And I tell people, I said, because I remember telling my son when he wanted to lift weights and be bodybuilder like me, he's like, Dad, how long it take to get big? I said, about 5 years, son. Oh no, I said, yeah, baby. I said take a long time, man. I said, I can show you pictures of me, man. I thought I was swole up and I ain't had nothing but a t-shirt. Oh no. No. But he has my oldest son, but he is big now. But it is taking him about 5 years to get his size on. But
had a lot right there. He was talking about how even with the bodies, women don't want to go work out. I'm about to go to this doctor.
Suck it out. Even though it's going to put my life in danger. I'm going to die. I just watched the red thing the other day and they were showing all these people from Florida, these ladies, and they said they can't even get no wheelchair because all these ladies coming from Florida with these BBLs and they don't have no wheelchairs from, and they suffering.
And how embarrassing it is to be on a plane, you can't even sit down.
It's sad. I'm saying, but we so caught up in it. But if you tell a woman that men don't really want that, they'll say you crazy. And I was like, have you asked a man?
No, I don't think women doing that for men's attention. I think it's for them.
I don't think none of that. I don't think the eyelash. I don't care nothing about no eyelash. I ain't never said, man, have you seen the eyelashes on that girl before? Ain't no man walking around asking about that. Because so you doing your eyelashes for women.
But I'm telling you, all of this stuff stems back to your upbringing.
Yeah. It's self-esteem, man. I think
right.
We got a grandiose thing of self-esteem, but when you see people, it's sad though. Because I work with people, like I said, they talk all that stuff and saying, but when I see them, they sad though. And I was like, so, but it's a show. We putting on a show and it's not real, and we don't
entertainment.
It is. And it's fake though. I mean, that's the thing about it. It's a fake world. And so we got ladies doing that and they got a fake world. But then these guys, they in these virtual wars and they won't date because they want everybody to be like the little anime girl that they date in their head. But it's true though, because they don't have to worry about rejection. Because guess what? In there, everybody loves them. I had a client that basically had a relationship. It's wild though. He has a virtual relationship with these people, and they can make themselves anything they want to be on his little. And they meet up and they have relationships in the virtual world.
Wow.
Yes, I'm talking about this crazy. I was like, wow. I love counseling. I said I ain't never seen nothing like that in my life, but it's real.
I don't have the patience for that one.
Yeah, but it's real though. But you got to think about it. People are so different. But anyway, Kamesha, I have loved having you on here. This has been a great conversation, man. We got to get you back on because you got so many different things and talk from a different perspective. And so, yeah,
this was fun. This was fun. I hope this can help somebody.
I hope so too.
And before you guys get out of here, I got in with a piece.
Well, come on, what you got, man?
Because we heard a lot about your history, Mr. Werner, and you my guy, so I'm gonna say something.
Go ahead, man.
Sound like you had a counseling session.
Okay.
Because when I'm in the session, I'm usually doing most of the talking.
Yeah.
And you listening. Seemed like you brought your counselor in here today to talk to you. I mean, listen to you, because I got so many questions for her. I need more background.
Go ahead.
I'm like, how did you start getting into this? What made you jump into it?
Me?
I want to know.
I don't know about you.
And y'all talked about something I know that it's very important we kind of need to lean into this topic a lot.
Okay.
Because you both experienced it. You actually mentioned it, Warner, with your father.
Yeah.
When y'all were talking when he was talking to your granddad.
Yeah.
It's that flashback that we do.
Yeah.
Our grown selves.
Yeah.
That we flash back to that moment when that trauma actually happened.
Yeah.
And we're frozen.
Yeah.
At that young age. No matter who we are, we like to try to play grown because we paying bills and going to work. But emotionally, we're children out here. And it's only a few grown-ups emotionally out here who've actually went to therapy, who went to counseling, who actually realized that, hey, seeing your dad get a shot across the street from you at 9 froze you at 9. So,
so that's traumatic.
And so let's not forget also add in drinking. Another freeze.
Yeah.
So even though I was starting to mature from 9 to 17, start drinking, we froze you back.
Yeah.
How far did you get from 9?
Yeah.
You feel me? How much more maturity did you get? Because like we said, none of us have been to therapy in our community. We go to church, liquor stores, and pray about it.
Yeah.
So that I think is almost like the topic of today. Is that reflection back to we're still looking at a country full of kids.
Oh yeah.
From the crack years to the meth years to the sexual touchings of the children.
Oh yeah.
To the be quiet, don't tell nobody.
Yeah.
To the boys being touched that are over sexualized.
Yeah.
Thinking we need more notches on the belt. It's not none of that.
Yeah.
It's we're kids looking for love in all the wrong ways.
Yeah. Yeah. So what you looking for, man? From what you need from Kamesha? Tell me.
I need Kamesha's background history, how you get into it. You know, like I said, Werner, you just did your therapy.
Oh, yeah, we was on a conversation.
You was all in therapy today.
But this, you know, I used to go to his CDC, come in his office. This how we talk.
Did it.
Yeah, we talk, man.
Because I know you hadn't seen her in a while. I know you mentioned that, and I was like, it seemed like he over here catching up. He got so much you want to tell her.
Yeah, well, we know, and Kamesha she has that because she's a counselor, but she's real smart, man. So we talk about some deep stuff because a lot of times, man, people don't have that deeper level of understanding. You know what I'm saying? So
you don't have nobody to talk to.
Yeah, and that's one of my things, man. Too is that and then also she's one of my spiritual sisters, man. And so being able to talk and being the relatability, man, is a different thing a lot of times.
I felt all that coming.
Yeah. So
this man ain't had nobody to talk to in so long.
Oh yeah,
about the stuff.
But I talk deep, man. We talk. We always have to talk deep about stuff, and so I'm a deep thinker, man.
This both of y'all lane.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I saw that, and I'm like, I don't bring enough to the table for him.
Oh, you all right, man.
So it was like,
there's very few people, man, that I talk to that I can really go deep stuff with. Right. I'm a deep on different levels, man. And so
and I heard your deepness, but I think I missed hers. She was
stuff, man. You want to get deeper though. Okay, yeah.
She was really being a great counselor. Like I need you to come back tomorrow if I was working because you got a story. I heard it.
Yeah.
You were telling me. You mentioned. Your mother went through a portion of the crack years and she stepped away because of the kids.
Yeah.
And that's a story in itself of how you guys were able to get past that. If you've all been to therapy and gotten past it, worked through it, and for you to now be in the business of helping, that's a story that needs to be told. I know it's a lot of ladies out there, a lot of young men who mothers went through that, that experienced that same situation, that would like to know, how did you make it to helping people after going through such a childhood?
Well, mine is what you were saying earlier. It was through church. It's just simple as that. When I found Christ, and then I've always been a person, just a big thinker.
Yeah.
I always would stay in my head. Sometimes I had to get out of my head. But when I found Christ, and like you said, we looking for love. And when I realized that I had met the lover, the creator of lover, then I started to love myself. Then I started to understand myself. The Bible. Y'all give me all my little stuff now. The Bible says that, he's the Prince of Peace. It calls him a wonderful counselor, and he is that. And I just started taking stuff to him. But I would take it to him in tears when I was hurting because I didn't feel like I had somebody to talk to be my authentic self. And one thing I like about Christ is I don't have to put on a mask. I just be myself. Like, Lord, my mama done hurt my feelings. Lord, I don't know why she said that about me. I don't know why I feel like this about myself. That's just how I would talk to God. And I would cry it out, but I would also feel, the song say he's a balm in Gilead. The word talks about that. And he would just heal me. An emotional wound is way different than a physical wound. And after he would heal me, then he would sit there and rock me and explain to me, this is why you feeling like this. But this is how you can, you can be better. You don't have to think like that. You don't have to look at the situation like that. So mine was when I met Christ. And I'm not I think people can get this same type of growth through getting you a good therapist. But mine was when I met Christ.
So it sounds like you had the similar experience that most people do when they go to treatment, AA or NA, where we had that spiritual experience. And in the program, because of so much trauma, so much we've seen happen, especially from the church. A lot of young men, especially, they tend to stray away from the church. And I think that's one of the focuses of those kind of groups is they start to say, choose your higher power. Have a higher power.
They absolutely.
So it doesn't create a problem with that spiritual experience that you need. But it sounds like you had a spiritual experience, and that's what really brought about that self-loving, not the self-love that's bad, but I love myself enough to say no, to say this is not what I want, to start moving in a different direction, to seek help outside of the normal avenues let's say the easy avenue.
Now I learned a lot when I went to grad school and got into the counseling program. Everything that God had did for me, I was able to put a word to it. So, like I love self-talk. I love mindfulness. You know, the Bible talks about meditate all through. Meditate. That's the same thing as mindfulness. Positive self-talk. You have to speak over yourself. I mean, I was just able to put clinical terms to what God was already doing, what He'd already done for me.
Okay, I like that. That's kind of what I kind of got now is once I had this, and I'm gonna say I had my spiritual experience in the past 3 years during COVID, and I'm gonna mention that because I remember one said we lost a lot during COVID. I think we gained something. I think we gained an awareness for our mental health. I think I gained those plans during COVID that could actually help us with these cracky years. We gained our confidence to get out of here and talk on a podcast about mental health. So this is the beginning of what we gained from that. See, all we lost was the things we needed to lose.
Well, you know, burn when things are like when a forest burns, man, it's a regrowth too. In order for you to build something, sometimes it has to burn down. Sometimes you have to get to your lowest point in order for you to grow. You know what I'm saying? And so it's always how you look at things. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, even in bad, you know, is what you're going to do with it. And one thing we find out, especially with Black people, is that, you know, we're survivors. And that's why I have so much respect for people who are older than me. You know what I'm saying? Because my wife's great-great-grandmother, I used to always tell her, you know, I love you because you gave me my wife. Because you survived. I said, you could have died. You know what I'm saying? But you lived, and you had Camille's grandmother, and she lived, and she had Camille. And I said, because of y'all survival, you here. So I love those people, you know, regardless what it is. I love my dad because he still had me. I would not be here if it wasn't him. I respect him. You know what I'm saying? And so I have so much respect for the elders or people who are older than me because they survive us. If we ain't nothing else, we survive. You know what I'm saying? That's why I tell people when they get out and they don't want to fight or they're in addiction, I said, man, you know how many people, you know, have died, man, so you could do these things. And I remember my dad and them and my mom, she was going to sit-ins and stuff. And, you know what I'm saying, my grandma said they had to, in order for them to vote, they had to, you know, take the test for the post office. And she said they would go and they'd be like 12 or 13 and they would have 13 tests and they would have a study hall in my grandmother's house. And they would all sit around and learn all those tests in order to be able to vote. And that's why I tell people, I said, I gotta vote. I said, I might not vote for nobody but Donald Duck, but I'm gonna vote because they did so much to vote. And I said, but you know, that's a fight though. You got to fight for your.
I wish more people had that mentality.
You got to fight for it. But you know, you realize that people survived and do these things. And so, yeah, you know, it's to be able to go to mental health, to be able to get insurance, to have insurance, to be able to go and check on what's wrong with you. That's somebody, you know, gave up something for that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so that's a good thing. What else we need? What else we looking for from Miss Misha here, ma'am? Since I took over her conversation.
Well, I'm not gonna say you took over. This your show.
Yeah, it's all right.
And
but she's a very interesting conversation. So you know, this my old partner that's left me. But you know, we still cool.
I'm gonna say you got her invite back. You got her invite back because I'm sure everybody wants to know.
We didn't even get on the narcissism stuff.
Oh wow,
narcissism because
that's a popular word now.
And people throw it around so much. It really bothers me when they throw it around because people because they narcissistic, and I was like, you talking about narcissistic tendencies and not narcissists. There's a difference. You got clinical, you got the regular kind, you got the narcissism disorder. It's all different kinds of it, and people just throw it around because a person is kind of, they don't really like how they act, or they just kind of arrogant. You can be arrogant
because that goes back to childhood. Some people are just selfish.
Oh yes,
that doesn't mean
all of us are selfish. Not some people. Every person in the world is selfish. Because think about a baby. I always bring it back to a baby. If you get an ice cream, you give a baby ice cream, right? You got your ice cream, he's gonna snatch your ice cream. That's selfish.
He gonna
what you tell him? No. They go no. They acting out, right? So you're in a relationship. Somebody tell you no, well, you still acting out. You start watching people now, you're gonna realize that people have tantrums. You start watching.
Absolutely.
They have tantrums. They get in, they storm out, they close the door. That's a tantrum. They get in, drive the car fast, tantrum. They child. So, like Pertis said, we are a nation of like people who are still acting out.
That's what he said. We're just a bunch of big babies.
Big old babies acting out. Big old baby poking their lip out. You know what I'm saying? And we don't realize that we just in different stages. You're a 9-year-old, you're a 12-year-old, you're a 14-year-old, you're a 5-year-old. And like he said about even addiction stunts your growth. You know what I'm saying? Pornography stunts your growth. So if I'm 7, and it's a reason to introduce that stuff at such an early age, because it starts me. And then also I'm tell you what else stunts girls. Cinderella, all these different little things, Lifetime, because guess what? It's fantasy.
Yeah.
It's fantasy because guess what?
Happily ever after.
Yeah. It's fantasy because what happened if my man doesn't do these certain things, then I'm thinking something wrong with my life because this was saying everybody. I remember when I was doing day treatment and I saw these guys one time and they was all talking about, yeah, man, I'm a 10. I said, no, one of y'all is ugly, man. One of you gotta be the ugly friend. I said, I don't know. I said, well, look among yourself and choose one of y'all. I said, because but you ask, people now is like everybody's 10. I said, it's no way. Everybody's a 10. I'm not saying anything wrong with you. I'm not saying you're not beautiful and you're not a 10.
But if you're in a group, somebody gonna be the 10 and somebody gonna be the 1.
Guess what? If my narrative is different, so now I gotta say is that you can't handle me. You can't handle my aggressiveness. You're a weak man. You know what I'm saying? Because then my narrative got to change that maybe I'm not a 10. Or the fact that then something is wrong with you.
Now, I have a healthy narrative for that one. Mine is I just may not be for you.
Right.
Like,
but if I'm saying I'm a 10 and this other guy say you're a 4, well, you just can't handle me. Because my narrative got to change. Nothing wrong with saying you a 10. Hey, I might not be a 10 in the body, but I'm a 10 in my personality.
Right.
I'm a 10 in my...
I just not be for... And I also say somebody for everybody.
Gotta be, yeah.
But you don't have that disposition.
Be honest.
Yeah.
Have you ever met anybody who said they're 5?
Ain't nobody but I've seen people say they 4s and 3s before. That's the lowest. But when you on that though, you on low self-esteem, man.
Right. If you say that, then you need
No, I have healthy, like I've had conversations with my friend girls and I be like, well, I can't talk because I got such and such going on myself. It's fine with me. I do know that people are not going to, when I look in the mirror, I think I'm beautiful. But I know somebody may see me and be like, oh my gosh, she is so ugly. Look at her nose. Like, I just have the healthy disposition about myself.
Well, we got to remember, beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Oh, yeah.
And what we're comparing ourselves to is Blair Underwood on TV.
Or somebody else. Yeah, because when I was growing up, it was playing light skin. You want to be, everybody want to be light, man. Everybody want to have a certain kind of
thing. It was Wesley Dog.
Yeah. But that's when I got up, I got older, man, all the girls would tell me they want a dark skinned guy. I want me a dark skinned guy. This and that,
light skinned dudes were in at one time. Oh, my goodness.
But when I was growing up, I ain't never went out. You know what I'm saying? But people will tell you they was out, but I was like, they sure be knocking on my, people calling me though. They much don't care too bad. I remember this lady one time, I was at a job and she was like, I don't like big guys. I said, well, stop rubbing on my chest, man. Stop rubbing on my chest if you don't like big dudes. You know what I'm saying? I said, because what I'm saying, people will say that. I said, but you have to know who you are and care about yourself. You
have to know who you are. You do. Because
and be okay with that.
People will reject you.
Yes, and they're going to.
And they are going to.
And guess what? In that rejection is, you saw one of the biggest things physically and spiritually is rejection. Rejection is it is so many things that attach to rejection. Oh, you talking about, you can do a whole show on that. I can do, that is the biggest thing in the world.
But you know what? I don't care who you are. Your initial response is going to be, you're going to have some bad emotions behind it.
Never think about everybody who ever told you beautiful. That's why I'll tell people, 1,000 guys can tell you you beautiful. One guy tell you she ain't that pretty to me. You're going to remember him. You're going to remember what time it was. You're going to remember that day.
Absolutely.
I can remember in the 2nd grade, this girl told me, I remember. I'll say her name if I want them trying to be funny.
Absolutely.
You remember them. You know what I'm saying? That's how rejection is, though.
Yeah.
You are. Rejection is powerful.
Listen.
It's powerful.
I've heard, I had the privilege of hearing somebody say why they didn't want me.
Right.
And I knew exactly where I was. I probably remember, I know what time it was when it was said.
I'm telling you, it's a seed. It is a seed.
Yes.
So is it about the rejection as much as it is? I think we talked about it in one of our real therapy sessions. Is we may not remember all the good stuff somebody did, but that one thing they did that bothered us.
Yeah.
Oh, it stands way up here. It might not even be that big of a deal. But if it hurt you, you remember the hurt more than you remember the love.
Yeah, rejection is like that, man. Rejection is such a big thing and people don't realize that. And you would do I don't know what it is about it. Rejection.
You want to be accepted.
It's a seed. And people are like, I don't care about that. I see it.
Yes, you do.
People say they don't. They do.
You do.
It's a seed. It's a seed.
But I have gotten to a place where I used to want to be accepted by people, but now I'm at a place I understand that everybody is not going to accept me, and I've put myself where I only be around people that do actually accept me. I'm not going to put myself in a position where people don't like me. Now, I don't do that.
Yeah. It's going to hurt you. It's going to be detrimental to you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But just understanding that rejection is just part of life. It's not for everybody. You go to a store and you say, I don't want McDonald's. You basically rejecting McDonald's for churches. You're rejecting it. You know what I'm saying? And realize that that's just part of life is that rejection comes with it. That doesn't mean it's easy. You know, and I think sometimes we think our life's supposed to be easy and it's not supposed to be like that. But people reject people every day. And we kind of drawn to things. And sometimes people are drawn to things to reject them.
It's something good for you.
Yeah, it is good for you because it humbles you. You realize that, hey, everything is not going to be, you know, and I remember watching this thing, I think it was on, it was talking about like Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. I think Madonna came up and she wanted to date Scottie Pippen, and Michael Jordan, they said he was pissed off. He was mad because he was like, I'm the star. She wasn't interested in him. She was interested in Scottie. You know what I'm saying? Because that was to him, and he was like, hey, I'm this and this. Because what it does, it take you down a level. Rejection take you down.
Take it down.
We need that. We need to be taken down. We need to know that we're not all this in a bag of chips. So we realize we're human. We flawed. And guess what? And just because they reject me don't mean nothing wrong with me either, though.
Ooh, that's the big right there.
Yeah, this is okay.
Just because they reject me does not mean that it's something wrong with me. I'm just not your type.
It's not your type, and I'm okay with that. But you know, people have proved their life to go, and then you're trying to make yourself, you know, somebody like you that don't even like you. Why would you try to do that? Why would you waste all that time trying to do that stuff? You know what I'm saying? That's part of growth. And a lot of times we don't, and that's especially bad with our community, because I remember how many times that I wouldn't be my full self because I wanted to be accepted by the Black community. Because, you know, we bad about that. If you read, if you smart, if you try to talk about something that's not this, oh, you ain't Black, man, you ain't Black, you ain't Black, you ain't Black. And I remember so much, and I was so glad when my kids got older and they was like, Dad, I like playing football. My younger son said, I like doing plays. He said, and the guy said, man, you sure you like doing plays? He said, yeah, man, I like doing plays. He's good at it too. You know what I'm saying? And he said, you know, because he said, Daddy, y'all never made me feel bad. I said, son, you know how many grown people have not got to the point where they can
I was going to ask you, how do you raise a child to be their authentic self and then take that into their environment with their peers?
You got to talk to them about it. You have to talk. You have to be transparent. You have to talk to them about it. You have to just tell them.
You just said, you was like, well, he said, y'all didn't never talk bad about it. Yeah. You know, y'all encouraged me in it.
Yeah. He said it. He told, I was like, dude, the maturity, man. I said, that age, I said, dude, I wasn't at your age. I still wanted to fit in, man. I didn't want to be, left out. And I said, man, being my whole self was so different. Even being myself now, I remember, like, even in my job, that's one of the things God put on me when I became a director. He was like, be your true, authentic self, all of you. Because what happened, people meet me and they were like, well, Warner, he's real nice, or Warner, saying he likes God or something like that. But then they wouldn't know that I have a sense of humor and all that stuff like that. Because the only people who really knew me knew about, that's my real default. Humor is that's me. I pull that part back because that's how I deal with stuff. And what happened is that I'll meet people and I've been knowing them 10 years and they didn't know that part about me because I would only be this certain part. Or they didn't know that I like a lot of stuff and I read a lot and I know about a lot of different things because I was like, well, they think he nerdy or something like that. And, and I didn't want people, I want to be cool because I like being cool too. And I like all these other different things. And I know about a lot of little different things. And I was like, but guys, he put them, he said, life is too short for people not to know you. And so let yourself be known. And so be all of who you are. And if you are to people, they different, that's okay. That's who you are. And that's one of the things, and it changed me because I was able to be myself all the time. You know what I'm saying? And I don't mean I go deep with everybody, but I'm still me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times people are not like that. They only what they think people need to see, and they only show you part of them. But is that being truthful?
And for me, that's a pet peeve. If I'm with people and if you're not being your authentic self, I shut down. because I feel like I can't trust you.
Wow. Well, but a lot of people are like that.
And that's why
They
right,
partial.
right,
Yeah.
and I have to respect it. That's just who they are, but
But they might not feel comfortable, because in order for you to be your authentic self with a person, you have to really feel comfortable with.
and that's something I try to make sure the environment is comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, like even just when I look at people, make sure I smile.
Yeah.
Because I notice a lot of people like, you be frowning all the time, but I'm really not a mean person.
Yeah. That's your look, huh?
No, that's not my look. I'm working.
Yeah. I had to learn to do that because I'm a big guy. You know, people automatically think that you're what you call. And so I had to smile more because people would think I was mean, or they were scared, or they was intimidated. I was like, man, I'm not finna do nothing to hurt you. But people are doing it. So I smile more because it's more inviting.
Right.
Especially in counseling. You know what I'm saying? I have to be able to come in and be able to present that. You know, because we you know, and so it's learning about yourself, learning what you present, you know, being able to grow. You know, it's a process. But yeah, but being your authentic self, that's hard, especially in our community, because we are taught this thing right here represents blackness. This right here represents this masculinity and all that stuff like that. Just being who you are.
All right, one last curve.
Okay, come on,
Maybe
man.
two.
Well, Kamesha, get out here. I ain't gonna hold on. All day.
All right, so one last curve, maybe two, before we get out of here. All right, so authentic self. This new stuff that we talk about now. Everybody think they authentic self is real.
Yeah.
When we know you still traumatized from the crack years, you're not authentic. Now that we know the science and the what we learned.
Yeah.
All right, so here's something now that both of you kind of mentioned earlier on. And I'm gonna ask you, how much of this do you two professionals think about this amateur thinking? So my preference, you remember you mentioned porn, and a person will get frozen in the porn age.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's keep that in mind.
Okay.
We frozen in the porn age.
Okay.
Young men, especially when we were coming up.
Yeah.
But now it's spreading over to women too.
Yeah. A lot of
a few therapists and other people have mentioned they caught their young girls, young nieces and daughters watching porn at 9 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that I remember one of my cousins telling me, "You ain't had sex by the 7th grade." I was like, I was a virgin till I was 19.
Yeah.
But that was me, the nerd Star Trek watching guy.
Yeah.
So it was, you know, I was porned up too now. So let's not, I ain't finna play innocent.
Right. Okay.
I was all porned up. However, I hear the preference of this, and I think, he's talking about the porn star. He's talking about what he was frozen in. Yeah. And then I hear the lady say, a man in gray sweatpants and a tank top or something. And when I put that in my vision and memory, that's the crack uncle suit. That's the crack uncle outfit. That's the
gray sweatpants.
That's the 1980s guy walking down the street, crackhead. That's that outfit. Yeah. The gray sweatpants and the baseball cap that the women claim is so sexy on us. That is so much of a rapey uncle outfit I've never seen.
You know, a lot of people, you know, we hypersexual.
Real though. Right. Am I lying though, Warren?
But when you talk about, the reason why I don't mind talking about sex is because that's the devil's playground. You're talking about drugs and sex and money. Yeah. That is where that's where he's active.
Yeah. Yeah. You think about all of those things too, Kamesha, they are all so quick to go.
And it's common.
But you know, sex is like we know is on the hierarchy of needs. It's at the bottom. It's with food and eating and drinking. But all those things are feeding the now. You know, they really quick.
The flesh.
But it's also feeding like what's right in front of me. Because you think about even on the lowest level, when you're at your base point, like a person is on the street. Once they kind of get food and they get the drug of choice, whatever, they're gonna go out there and have sex because it's still endorphins. I still feel good because it makes me. It's an escape. It's the same thing as like it's still dopamine, right?
Right.
It still releases all those feel good chemicals, and so. I used to hate that movie Monster Ball, but it makes me. I learned so much from that when I watched it. I remember that Monster Ball with Halle Berry on there because her husband had just died, which was Puff Daddy. You know what I'm saying? And her son.
We can't say that name in here. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. then her son had got hit by the car, and she just said, "I need you to make me feel good." So what she was basically saying, I don't have nothing else. I need something to make me feel good at this moment, even though I know it might be bad or terrible. That's why we have people in our clients in the addiction center. We have to watch them because they out there having sex.
Yeah.
Because if you get them a moment they want to have, because I can't get my drug of choice, but I can still get some dopamine. It's still this fix. And so it's understanding that. And that's why you got kids, like even when they do things with the monkeys, you know, once they show them how to masturbate or something like that, they'll do it till they die. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just that, it's that flesh. It's that.
I'm telling you.
Same way with hitting the cocaine pill. Same way they do the things about the monkey. It's this thing they do with Pertis where this experiment and it's a little button and they push and it's cocaine. You seen it before? Yeah, he just keep on hitting the cocaine until he just die. You know, and so they even have kids, even with virtual reality. They have these little kids over there in China that'll watch those things, and when I get up and use the bathroom, they will die.
Well, how about
playing the games?
So I want to ask Miss Williams, back to what she was talking about. You had a client you were working with, and she said, "I'm cleaning off of drugs, but I'm still hoeing." Okay, so now, was she going to be that? Okay, so the drugs is one thing we dealing with, but now we know our childhood trauma too affects our sexual immorality.
Well, you got to understand, most people, I had a family member who was molested by another family member. And right now, they are dealing with addiction. For them, I'm thinking the addiction is just a coping mechanism.
Right.
And that's the same thing when you think, and then you get rid of the addiction, but you still hadn't got to the root of it. I want to touch on it. You still hadn't got to the root of it.
But you also added another addiction. It's a learned behavior. It's like ladies, sometimes they stop stripping, they go back to it because they can't get past even though they know it's a false need, about the need of connection or people wanting them or something like that. I remember watching the thing with The Rock one time. He was saying that him being a star, he loved being a star. He meet millions of people. He said, but it's nothing like being in an arena with millions of people shouting your name. So a lot of times you're like, why would they go back and keep hitting their body? He's a multi-millionaire. Why would he go back and go in there and put his body in that kind of pain? Because regardless if it's fake or not, he's getting slammed, he's getting hurt, he's getting hit, you know. But he says the fame, it's the, it's the, hey, he just did.
So you saying he's a narcissist?
No, man, it's a need, man. He said, hey, it's just that, but he got there because guess what? We talk about rejection. He was rejected. He was rejected for playing football. You know what I'm saying? He was evicted in his household. He wanted to be something. I love the Rock, man. Like I'm saying, but he real. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, hey, but he still, because we got this thing, man. We still have this. Yeah, we got, I don't say a narcissist, but he might have narcissistic tendencies. Y'all can have that. You know what I'm saying? But it's that need, man. Where did that come from? That I still gotta know.
It's a void.
Yeah, it's something missing.
Right. It's something missing. Like I'm all about, look, I love the Lord. He heard my cry. But I'm telling you, when you lay down with dogs, you coming up with fleas. Just to go back to what you were saying. If you continuously, when you sleep with people, you're allowing all these different spirits to enter into you. And if you don't deal with that, when I say deal with it from a Christian perspective, if you don't get some type of deliverance, you're going to be back at square one.
Because they're there and all those different, and then it's the connection. Some people don't know why they can't leave because they have introduced so much of that stuff to them. Like I can get on that on whole about that, but it's so much is into that. It's so much deep.
People soul ties. They throw that word around a lot, but that's true.
It's real.
It's real.
It's even, and then people like I would talk to guys that say, "Hey, it ain't the drugs, it's the street life." He said, "I'm addicted to that lifestyle."
And y'all were talking about the 80s. Y'all were talking about the effects of the crack epidemic.
Right.
Something that I was watching the research, they were saying people wanted to sell drugs because the role models, remember the dads are not there. The drug dealer was a role model.
That was cool, man. That was the coolest people in the world. And drug dealers got their things from pimps. You know what I'm saying? And then all the people who was around, they was doing, that's what everybody dressed like. They dressed like, the gangster rapper dressed like the guys on the street selling drugs. They was the coolest guys to me in the world when I was growing. They told legends they could fight. They was tough. Everybody I knew who sold drugs were cut up. I was like, man, I'm finna sell drugs so I can be cut. They were all cut up and had shit because they went to jail. They went to Oakland training school, come back, they doing push-ups, they got abs. All the girls like them because they walking around with the tank top on. Girls telling me rejection us and telling, hey, I want me a man. They got a car. So I'm they got money. I'm out here working at Sack Save. I'm making $125 a week. My friends got $3,000-$4,000 and they got the fitted hats, and I just thought that was the cool. And they had the jury and I could have respect. I remember being in a barbershop and this guy, he ended up getting killed. This guy killed him, but he came in the store, he had a herringbone about this big and had a Uzi on in the middle of it. And he came in and he bought my chair. And what buying your chair mean is he's like, man, hey, little bro, I need to get a haircut, man. Can he's I'll pay for your haircut. You know what I'm saying? If you let me get your seat. And I was like, sure, man. You know, he paid for my cut and his. And then I remember him having a matching, his outfit always matched his shoes. But to me, they was like legends. You driving a bad car, got a bad girlfriend, got a house in her name. But to us, you know what I'm saying, not having my dad there at 12 years old, that was the coolest thing in the world. I mean,
Coolest thing
so I looked at that. And you know what I'm saying? I was like, man, and so we watched the movies. Look at all these movies that were out. That's what I was telling Pertis about. All the movies that came out in the 90s, they had something about doing about the drug.
We idolized
it. And
yes.
we forgot about
yes.
Who is the customer? Who is the customer? What is the effect that the customer had on their family? So we're looking at the money, but what is happening to the people later? And so we never deal with that. We realize that that's their brother, their sister, their mother, their cousin that is doing these different things to get these drugs, or selling some, or breaking into somebody's houses, and we just glossed over this whole part. And that's why I love that thing. I mean, Percy didn't talk about it all the time. Like, man, you know what? I never even thought about that. You know, why don't we talk about it? Why is it gone? You know,
because that is our real trauma.
That's some trauma, man.
That whole situation, and I can see it in her face, Miss. I can see it in the face. Those flashbacks that we forgot, they're personally close to you because it was in house. So it's like when my dad got shot across the street from me, I knew my dad was dead. I knew he was across the street. I knew I knew all of these things, but it was never we never sat down and said, how are you doing? After your father got shot across the street from you and your little brother and you saw it. How are you doing? Nobody ever came to me. It's just like one of our previous guests said, when my behavior changed. And here's the thing about going to therapy, and I'm glad we mentioned this too. When going to therapy, I remember being in school and never getting in trouble. And in the 4th grade, I started getting paddlings, and me and the teachers was falling out. And I'm talking about, I was just, all of a sudden, I went from like the little cute black kid, he's so chocolatey, to we were now gangbusters, is what they called us. So it was almost like the therapy brings you to understanding. It's kind of like those 12 steps, what they say. In order to fix this, man, step 1, we got to admit we got a damn problem. And we got to figure out what is the problem we got.
Right.
You know, and nobody in society other than those groups that I know of take that part serious. Where what is the cause, that Genesis you mentioned? What is the Genesis of this acting out? And now that we found it, us as a community, us as a world, really, because this crosses all color barriers. You know, because they called it free basing when they was over there doing it, but it was still molestation. It was still touching daughters and grandmamas and sons. And so we have to say, if this is the problem, the United States of the world needs some therapy, man. If we blocked that out, smooth criminal, and hadn't discussed it,
it's watch it, because we go from thing to thing.
Be on the show talking about what happened to grandmama house. How come don't nobody go to grandmama house no more? Crack baby. How come we ain't maintain? Crack baby. How come we can't be parents though? For crack, we don't trust each other because remember,
we don't know who they are. We don't know who they are.
Trust. And now. Can't leave you in my house.
Well, because it then also got some deeper stuff, man. Like I said, I ain't gonna get into all that, but there's some deeper stuff how crack came in, and I think that's one of the reasons too. It's not discussed too. And it's just looking as a poor person. But anyway, we can't hold her no much longer, man. We can't hold her no longer. She's been out with us a while.
And I think I got some good clips from her now.
But I appreciate Kamesha being here. Thank you so much, guys, for coming and joining us today on the meal. Thank you, Kamesha, for coming. Got to bring you back one day and come in, and she don't be gone 9-10 years again. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, guys, what I appreciate, and I just like to say it public because Kamesha really helped me out, guys, getting to where I am, and so I really appreciate it a lot. So, but anyway, guys, thank you so much, and we're out.
And I always say, if you want a show, you got it. And you're always welcome back.
Yeah, you know, somebody want one because he's always, like I said, Pertis is still building his thing. He just kind of went on to his own now. And so
they close it, man. So give me a second. I'm closing it.
Did I close it? Okay.
I'm just messing with you.
Oh, it's closed, man. Okay.
It's closed.
Okay. Yeah.